Well, spring was here. No, it's not. Spring is no. Spring no. We went from warm and sunny to snow and shit within like 8 hours today.
Did you guys have snow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys didn't?
I didn't. We didn't up where we live or where I work. No snow.
Wow. Yeah, it wasn't long. It was probably like at 10 a.m. or something like that. It started snowing.
Yeah. It has been absolutely horrible today. I'm trying to reset the sound effect machine, so that's what I'm doing. Well, that's why I'm looking away. Speaking of shit, let's see what's left in the panel for tonight's show. First of all, welcome to Life on Two Wheels. Welcome to the Packfiller Cycling Podcast. I'm your host, Pat Bulger. We've been off for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Well,
just a week.
We've been off for a week,
right.
Yeah, and that was my fault. That was my fault because I had my job thing, and the job thing gets in the way. And so, if you guys would all you listeners out there would just be willing to join like a membership program where you all just completely paid for me to do nothing but this for a living, you'd have a show every week. I'd do a show every day if people would pay for this.
Whoa.
It'd probably be pretty short, though. It'd probably be boring after a while. It's just like, I washed my socks today.
Yeah.
I would have to change the name. It couldn't be Packfiller. It would be like just Pat's Daily Thoughts.
Pets.
Yeah. It'd be a segment under the Packfiller.
And there would be a slow descent into insanity, too,
right.
Don't you think? It would just be, it would get ugly. So, you guys, when I introduce you, please respond to the following random icebreaker question. What was the last thing you overreacted to? The last thing you overreacted to. All right. Paul's usually first, but he, as he plainly stated, is home with the vid. Have I been too far out of the COVID thing that people call it the vid now?
That's like, yeah, no, I mean, I first heard that from a Kevin Hart skid.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was, yeah. And so that's always stuck with me.
Paul's got COVID, man.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, let's see. That theme still doesn't play. That sucks. I mean, because vaccinated, everything like that. But I guess the good news in the long run is that because he's vaccinated, it won't be as bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's already said like it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So he'll get over it.
Yeah. So please welcome the only guy I know who can legally comment on the placement of your ass, Mr. Sam Waples. It's like your ass is not right. It's move your ass.
Yeah, move it.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I think that the first thing that comes to my mind is, I've done this multiple times in the last few days. There's this person I work with that has hummus, like those little like hummus dips that you can get from Costco,
right.
And then they take Cholula and put Cholula in it. Does that blow anybody else's mind? That they're like, I'm so shocked at the fact that they're putting Cholula in hummus. I'm like, how does that flavor profile go together?
I think it kind of works.
Is this an overreaction?
It is an overreaction.
See?
And
so
it's
it is an overreaction.
Because they make a spicy hummus.
It does. And it's remarkably, but I was giving her such a hard time. And I was just ragging on her for this. And then she's like, try it. And I tried it. And I was like, that's good.
And you realized you overreacted.
I overreacted. Yeah. I overreact a lot, though. So
now there are specific hot sauces for specific instances. I mean, this could be a whole topic unto itself.
yeah,
I mean, Cholula is only good for me on like breakfast stuff. Cholula is when I use Cholula,
like eggs and things.
Yeah,
like that's why I was like, hummus.
Speaking of hot sauces, when I go to Starbucks, I get the breakfast burrito, but they include sriracha, which you wouldn't expect would be a good breakfast hot sauce, but it works really well.
What was it?
It was the breakfast burrito at Starbucks.
Yeah.
But you get the sriracha with it.
Oh, okay.
And it makes it way better.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next, he's the guy that actually can blame his fiance for being let off the hook to record a podcast on Valentine's Day, Mr. Jackson Bulger.
Yeah, I know. She's working tonight, so I'm all by myself. What's all about?
Don't wanna be. I see you sing that. I think of a Green Day song that is just an abstract track on the album Dookie, where he says "all by myself." And Jackson knows that because I think. Anyway, how are you, man? What was the last thing you overreacted to?
I'm good. Yeah, the last thing I overreact, but I don't do it too often. I will say, and so I think that the last thing I overreacted at was we had a Christmas party. And when we bought new Christmas lights, and they are the big glass bulbs, and they're like pressurized glass. And so when if they drop, they explode.
Oh,
And yeah, exactly. And
which is kind of cool.
And you go to Target and you get these ones and they're like, oh, if one doesn't work, the whole strand will still work.
Sure.
Or like if one breaks. But if one breaks, the whole thing doesn't work. So I was holding them very, very sturdily. I was holding them tightly, and one fell, and it made that gigantic popping noise.
Yeah.
And
Which is
Shattered
cool if you're
glass
outside,
everywhere.
like near a dumpster or something like
Right.
that, but not cool when you're in your own home.
yeah, so I had to go back to Target. I got super pissed off because I had to go back to Target again and get some more damn
Did you turn
lights.
Did you add? Did you like go to the counter and like blame them like a real old man?
Yeah.
Are you
This is your
sons
fault
of
for
bitches
my
made me break
clumsiness.
this light?
Yeah, no. It also sucked though because I went back to Target and the line was super long because it was like the 17th of December.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so, yeah, that sucked. But
See, like just the visualization of you upset and reacting to something is funny to me.
it's well, and
Because you're
it's,
such a steady state human.
right?
well, and it's also because like,
I don't know where he got it.
I know neither.
I am messed up.
but it's also like I didn't really react that intensely. I was just like, I was just quiet the whole time because I was like so annoyed about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, dropping Christmas lights. If you get the big bulbs, do it carefully. Have two people do it because it is annoying.
You're at the tip of the iceberg of stuff you're gonna start overreacting about. You know, it's especially with me as your father. It's just gonna bleed into you as far as like genetics, and you're just gonna find yourself going, "God damn it! What are you mad about? I don't know."
Yeah. Well, own a cat. That's
True. That's very
That's
true.
all overreacting.
Yeah, that's very true. Me, I'm the guy who ironically has something to say about his heart on Valentine's Day. I'm Pat Bulger, and I overreact to the nightly news. I have always overreacted to the nightly news, but you know what? I don't overreact necessarily about the news. I overreact to the way the news is presented. First of all, I correct their grammar on the news. Yeah, now people are thinking like, dude, you sound like an idiot on this show. But I do overreact to how they say things and when they make up words. And then on top of it, I overreact to the sensationalism about everything, about how they blow something out of proportion. And it's just like, you blew it out of proportion, but you didn't tell us anything about it. And I'm that old guy who's basically throwing his slippers at the TV now. So that's just become it's become my thing, and I freak out about that. And I during that time, and it works now.
There we
go.
So there we go. I'm not. Should I play the theme now? No, I probably
It's a
shouldn't
little
play
late.
the theme now. Hope you guys are cool with this. I want to address the elephant in the room that we were all dealing with and make a podcast decree. I want to get this out there, and I want to tell everybody about it. And it's kind of ironic that we had just
It's
finished.
so
It's horribly ironic.
It is horribly
Right?
ironic, especially with Dr. Dave's statement of like, go back to
Yeah.
the podcast before.
Yeah, this was the last show we did, right? Mm-hmm. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about the Haywire Heart scenario and everything like that. That was on a Tuesday. On Thursday morning, now I've been highly stressed because I teach high school, and you know everybody's thinking why would you be stressed teaching high school, or even worse, why would you be even stressed talking about a high school play? And then I realized the stuff I stress about is absolutely lunacy, but that has nothing to do with it. I woke up with a pressure in my chest, and I've had it before a couple times throughout my life, and usually it's when I treat my body like a frat boy. When I go camping with my family for the weekend, and I just everything, let me drink it, and stuff like that. And
Besides water.
yeah, exactly. And I get so insanely dehydrated that I wake up in the morning and my body's going. And so this time I was like, okay, it's probably stress induced. I haven't been drinking for an entire month, so that's probably it. I'm going through withdrawals, but so that was on a Thursday after we talked about fucked up hearts. And Sunday, it still hadn't gone away. Usually it goes away in about 24 hours. And I went, oh, okay. So I sent my doctor a little email, passive aggressive. And I didn't hear anything back. So Monday, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday. I called my doctor, and I was, you don't talk to the doctor direct. This is the medical industry. Hi, David. Oh, he's not here. Irony. And so David's not my doctor. But I talked to him, and I said, yeah, things are weird. My heart rate's usually around 48 resting, and right now I'm sitting at my desk and it's 130. And they went, go to the ER. And so I went to the ER, and everything got, checked out, looked at. You go to the ER, and it's always such an incredible experience in the fact that you're going,
this is how I die.
I'm going to die here, and I'm going to be here for at least 15 hours.
Slow death.
And I'm going to hear so many people just splatter the air with the F-bomb. I mean, it's just, there's so many people that show up at the ER who just are like, they use it like a painter uses pastels. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the ER is swearing about something, and they're demanding something. And so everybody who came into our room in the ER is like going, wait, you know what your resting heart rate is? You have technically 2 heart rate monitors on, and you're a nice person? And so at one point I had 5 people in the room. But anyway, I have been diagnosed with atrial fibrillation, which is, from what I'm understanding, what I'm researching is actually more common than I thought it was. It is not a death sentence. It is not anything like that. But and it is right now. I'm kind of pissed at the world because right now is the one thing. Why is it that whenever, I don't know about you guys, whenever something happens for me, it's just like, oh, I got a little, sore on my knuckle. Oh, can't ride. Oh, my ear's kind of tingling. Oh, can't ride your bike then. Everything is just like, oh, what do you love the most? Well, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
My fucking there's 2. My cardiologist.
You're not going to make it.
I'm not going to make it. I'm pissed at the world
Yeah.
tonight. My cardiologist looks at me and goes, hey, we're putting you on a drug that lowers your heart rate, so your golf game's going to go up. And I just went, I hate golf, you asshole. I hate golf.
Worst
He's
joke.
like, oh, your putts will be solid. And I'm like, oh, eat shit, you prick. But so I'm on 2 drugs. One of them is a blood thinner, and that's why I bought those POC arm and leg warmers, because they're crash resistant. So if I crash, I don't bleed to death on the side of the road. And then the other one is another one, a beta blocker that lowers my heart rate, and it won't let me get it up. Mm-hmm.
Justin's over here like, no.
Yeah, don't, Dad. Don't talk about boners again. So I want to get that out there, number one. And number 2, I want to mention that this show is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be real. I want to keep it real. I want to talk about this experience. Apparently this happens. There are a lot of people out there, especially fans of the sport of cycling, who've been hit with it. I want to talk about how I'm dealing with this issue, and maybe somebody else will figure out a better way to deal with this issue, and we can share the story. I'm going to joke about it, and I know that this is a serious issue. If what I say, or if what somebody else on the show says is offensive to you, welcome to the first episode of the Packfiller podcast, and don't listen anymore. I mean that genuinely, because it's I have to laugh. I have to laugh, and if I have my students at school who all know about it, and they were all worried at first, and now they're kind of giving me shit about it, and I can see they're dealing with it better that way, and I deal with it better that way. Yes, we have some people who know their shit on this show, but when it comes down to it, we're all about the two-wheeled lifestyle, and this is what a training ride with, I think I say, a bunch of good people and one asshole would be like. So I just want you guys to know that I'm dealing with this. We're gonna figure out ways to deal with this. I'm scheduled for, like, they're gonna hook the paddles up to me.
Oh yeah,
and
a car battery.
Yeah.
My dad just had that again.
Did he?
On yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, he survived. He'll be fine.
Dad's still alive.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I got
kinda
that
like,
going for
I
me.
want you to think about like Mission Impossible 3, right? When he gets zapped back to life because he's got the little like explosive in his brain. Remember this?
Mission Impossible?
You don't even like Tom Cruise.
I like Tom Cruise movie, but he had a thing in his brain?
Yeah, it's like where they would shoot the detonator things into your brain, and then you'd have like a certain amount of time to.
Are you talking about a Jason
Nope,
Statham
nope.
movie?
It is 100% Mission Impossible. I just went through the whole series.
Sounds
anyway,
like Suicide Squad too.
They zap him
does.
and they kill him, and then they zap him back to life. It's the same thing. not that extreme.
I wanted
the reset.
I'll probably be out cold. Your brother
You're
said
not
I
gonna
get the
remember any of
good
this.
I get the good stuff that
Yeah.
Michael Jackson got.
Yeah, you'll be hallucinating.
And they I guess I want them to go clear before they do it.
Oh,
They
that would
have
be
to.
fun.
Clear.
Yeah. I just took the training on those things. They have
Really?
to. They have to be like everybody stand
But it's not a
clear.
defibrillator.
It's
I
not
don't
a
think
defibrillator.
by
It's
yeah, but it's shit. I want them to do.
It's
that.
very
Probably
similar. Yeah.
So there's that. Let's learn and laugh together. I do have to say that my last 3 workouts have been just an exercise in how pissed off can Pat Bulger get. Because number one, they're indoors, and there have been a couple days that have been absolutely beautiful, which is just horrible. And then second of all, when you can't get your heart, which is interesting, I was showing you guys pictures, when you can't get your heart rate above a specific number, it's unbelievable how much lactic acid just explodes into your body and how absolutely horrible you feel. And now that we have Zwift and we have real RGT, I'm looking at, my heart rate is above my watts that I'm putting out. And that is just like, wait, what? I'm at 130 and I'm barely pushing 140 watts, which is not, what I had just said, and the numbers, the watts
Right.
are higher, but it is still just like, oh my God, and
We should use you as like a science experiment. We can like train, with like low intensity, and like
I got to find a
see
way
how you respond to it.
I got to find a way to maintain fitness over the next like 4 weeks, because this is the first year that I've been like, this is it. I'm on track, and this is my life. This is
Yeah, I
my
know.
fucking
This
curse.
is-
There's
yeah.
3, and I'm done with F-wumps apparently. But I'm now at the point where it's like, oh God, everything was going well, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
my
that's-
ear twitches, and they tell me I can't ride my bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty common though. I mean, like you'll find most people that are like, how many people have a fully just like clean straight through the season? It's like
I don't know,
the
that's a
last
great
time that I
question.
was like in that way, I was like,
Yeah.
I am crushing it. Everything. The world is my oyster.
Yeah.
Broke my arm. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It's part of life.
I did. For those of you guys who don't know, I also am on another podcast for the Cycling Legends folks, and those guys are great. And the host of that one was I let them all know, it's like, guys, if I'm pissed off on the show, it's because I just got diagnosed with this. And Gary Fairley, he sent me a Twitter message. He's like, Jesus, Pat, if you want to be like Sonny Colbrelli, just buy a jersey.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Sonny Colbrelli almost
Yeah,
died on
yeah.
the side of the road.
Yeah.
So there we go. So anybody out there, if you're dealing with this, if you've dealt with this, I'd love to. And my personal email is patrick@packfiller.com. I'd love to kind of get a discussion going about these types of things. I've already asked my cardiologist about, hey, is there any way we can find and I doubt there is, like a different beta blocker that allows me to get to 150, 170, but I don't know. Is there, basically what I'm asking, is there can a fairy come into my bedroom at night and just wave a
You just want
wand
a
over
unicorn.
me and go, you're all fine, ba-ding, and everything's good to go. So
Yeah. You just want a unicorn.
I do. Is that
Nothing
too much
wrong
to
with
ask?
that. No.
Would you guys, now that you know this, because you would said something different 2 weeks ago, if I were to show up at the rides
With an e-bike.
with a $10,000, by the way, Scott makes a gorgeous one.
Yeah.
I've already looked.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because fuck it. If
you
I'm
are-
gonna, and I'm already over the limit.
Yeah. You know what? You have 2 weeks worth. I think you still
That's
have
true.
2 more.
I got 2
Yeah.
more. But I was like, oh, if I got to ride one of these, that's the one.
So you're like nailing it for me because I will say this, like my dad, right? He's in good shape, but like because of all this, he hasn't been able to ride a lot, so he's not in like exceptional riding shape. So we're going to Maui in 3 weeks, and we're all going to do the West Maui Loop. My wife, my brother, my dad, my father-in-law, mother-in-law. I got my mother-in-law and my dad an e-bike. And I'm like,
Really?
how awesome is this? Like, they're going to be able to witness my favorite ride and, be able to do the whole thing and enjoy it. That's so awesome. I am amped at the idea of, it just depends on, like, where he's at with, like, health-wise and everything at the time. But my other idea was, like, man, for my birthday gift, I want him to rent it a second day, and he and I are going to go out and unleash like hell on that course with him on an e-bike. Like that would be so much fun if I can go like all out and my dad is, like right there with me. That'd be so cool.
I will say I have been researching in all of the 20 miles an hour is max speed.
Max speed where it like is like, giving you that assistance to there, but you can push up over it. And I think that there's some roads that will get, or road bike ones that will get up to 25.
Really?
From what I remember.
That would be perfect.
Because we're not to that stage yet, but I'm just saying that like if you did, it would be so cool to be motor pacing. Like you would be, still getting a hard workout. We would all be riding together.
Yeah.
And we could go so fast.
That's the thing that I didn't realize about it is, especially with like when I'm on Zwift here last week and I'm hitting 130 and I am bleeding out my eyeballs. It is so hard.
Yep.
Because, the drug's going, no, forbidden, and I'm just going, oh my God, just a little bit more,
It's all relative effort.
I don't realize that, and I guess that in talking about perspective, understanding that, guys like Sean Yates and people like that, Leonard Zinn, who wrote the book, The Haywire Heart, are out there, riding hard. It's not like they're just soft pedaling and going, hey, assholes, keep up with me.
That's the thing.
Like they're going hard.
There's this misconception that like e-bikers are just out there just lollygagging or whatever. And it's no. Like I can guarantee you that if my dad can make it through the ride on level 1, he's going to be on level 1. He's not going to be on level 5 and be like doop de doop de doo.
Yeah.
He wants to get a workout in. It'd be the same thing with you.
Yeah.
It's just that like, man, I would want you to be on the front for like a solid 20-minute pull, and I'm like bleeding through my eyes trying to hold your wheel. That'd be killer.
Just like, Pat,
wait for me, Pat.
Hit level 4 just now.
Just do it for me, Pat.
Hurt me.
Hurt me, God.
So there we go. That I just wanted to address that. We might be mentioning it throughout, and we'll go from there. Everybody, do you guys have any? I hate throwing you under this bus, Jackson, because it's like going, oh, by the way, it's genetic and, and shit like that. And,
Same with me.
Yeah. And your dad's dealing with this kind of shit. And I don't know if, I think I didn't tell you, your mom told you because I wasn't around. So, and this is probably a really shitty place to do it, but, I just making sure you're good, and there's a lot to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, yeah.
Should we change subject?
Maybe.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
All right. Love you, man.
I love you.
All right. Let's get to the topic for tonight's show, brought to us by our friends at Untapped Maple. That is right. Fueling courtesy of pure Vermont maple syrup. Quick, easy, accessible calories for the ride. Throw those little packets in your pockets. And you're good to go. Get to Packfiller, click the link, and tell them where we sent you. Tell them we sent you, not where. Yeah, technically that worked. So since the curmudgeon isn't here, I figured we either need to talk strictly about disc brakes or we need to talk about gravel. Mm-hmm. I don't want to talk about disc brakes.
No.
So gravel it is. Did any of you guys catch, and I'm going to script the name, the Classica Juan Paraiso interior that happened, I think, yesterday?
I didn't finish it. It was on. I turned it on at the clinic today.
I saw who won.
Yeah. Basically like a Spanish version of Strada Bianca.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful race. It was really pretty. It was nice.
Aren't all of the races in Spain right now?
Yeah.
I feel like
anymore.
Pretty much. Yeah. And it looked like a we live in an area near an area called the Palouse, and it looked like a hilly Palouse to me. I don't know about you guys, but and shocker, Tadej Pogačar, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
the guy's dancing already.
I know.
So
It'll be curious to see how long he can hold that fitness, though.
yeah,
That's pretty early to be.
it was interesting hearing his pre-race comments talking about. Sorry, I'm brain farting there. Talking about the fact that he has specific goals in mind, and what are your hopes for today? And he said, I think along the lines of, my hopes are that I do well in Milan San Remo and most importantly the Tour de France. I mean, he is focused on that objective, and that is pretty much it. So, not to look down the road at the Tour, but I would be very nervous if I was in the Jumbo-Visma camp, because I think the guy's gonna.
Oh, he's foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
I think that I think the last year he kind of was like, well, I'm going to win this, so
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. And then this year it's like, oh, I got a challenge.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see this year being one of those years where it's like everybody thinks it's going to be close, and then he shows up with a team that we are not expecting to be as good as they are. I mean, I forgot that Tim Wellens was on that team.
Yeah.
Like, that's a crazy team
Yeah.
in comparison. I mean, they have some generational talents on that team, but what worries me about Jumbo-Visma is that they have one generational talent that kind of just wins them everything in Wout van Aert. He can do it all, but
Yeah.
eventually, as we've found out with Tadej, he can't beat the team. But now can Wout beat the team? Mm-hmm. Because Jonas is a very good rider, but is he a Tadej Pogačar that can beat an entire team once his super domestique is gone? Mm-hmm. I don't know if he is.
It's going to be some fireworks. So I want to talk about gravel. We're going to address the gravel. And I know, Jackson, you were like, yeah, and then you're like, eh, and now you might be.
I don't know anymore. This year, it's what do I have? So I'm open for anything.
Yeah, okay. So I want to talk about the free from the stories of the good old days. Hi, Paul. I want to talk about the allure, the challenges, the fun, the failings, and the fad that is gravel, because it is all those things. And I hope it's not more the last one than it is all those other words, the fad. Do you, first question, gentlemen, do you consider yourself a gravel rider, quote unquote?
I've done it 2 times.
You've done it 2 times. You've only ridden.
Well, okay, I've
twice?
ridden my gravel bike more than that, but like I've gone out on 3 times.
Really?
Yeah. Once with you, once with my wife on the same route, and then once with my wife out in Idaho. Loved it every time. Then I've just ridden around town.
You're
I'm like,
that much of a noob to all this.
yeah.
I don't mean that but yeah, I do mean it meanly.
No, it's actually shocking.
I took you as somebody who knew
As
what
a
the hell
gravel
you were talking
privateer.
about.
Well, it's
But
'cause
now
I had
you're-
the stash
you're
for a
full of
little
shit.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's true. Like, it's one of those things that I know so much about it, but I wasn't doing it. Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
And then now I'm all in, and it's hilarious because I'm looking and I'm like, everybody's moved on. Like, I did a bike fit on somebody today. He did, like Unbound last year and all that, and he's like, I'm going to do mountain biking this year. And I'm like, I think I'm behind the curve. Everybody's moving on, but
I think that's because a lot of people are finding out gravel's a lot harder than they think it
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of more roadies that are transitioning to it,
Yeah.
and it's getting a lot harder. Like
It is.
one of my best friends, it's undetermined if he's going to be on the Kona team or not, but he is unreal fast, and he's lining up for like all of the big races around the country.
Oh, wow.
And
Like the Lifetime Grand Prix races.
Exactly.
Prix races. I said P.
yeah. And I was talking to him about it. Like, when guys like that start getting into it,
Yeah.
it's a different event than like your gravel what it started out as. Like, oh, let's take some bikes off road and see. It's like now
Yeah.
it's getting racy,
Yeah.
which could be cool.
Jackson, do you consider yourself a gravel rider?
I haven't done it too much lately, but I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like doing BWR kind of gets that
And
stamped on your back forever.
And you put your chops in for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, there were like 2 years ago, especially during the COVID years. You were way more into the gravel rides.
Yeah, it was also like what everybody was into, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that really got me into it. I think, like I said a couple episodes ago, it's like now that, you know, I'm a working man, I make my own money, I can actually like, I can go and pay for a shop to work on my bike for things that I don't understand.
Sure.
To make it work well. And I think that's what I want to do this year, unless a loving father and mother for their son's 24th birthday.
Oh gosh,
but
I
I-
love that.
That's nicely done.
Yeah,
That is
well done. You are
played,
plucking the right
Yeah.
strings here, bud.
Yeah.
But
He's a softie.
well, yeah. And I think
He's an idiot. That's what you're saying. I'm an idiot. Yeah.
but I think getting the gear working correctly would get me more motivated to go out there, because when you have, I mean,
You're riding on like it's good gear, but
it's just like it's gear that needs love.
you're also bringing a knife to a gunfight now. Like
yeah.
if you want to compete in these big races, you're gonna have to
And like
have a different bike.
I can bring like 24-year-old fitness and like and pretty good handling skills, but
Yeah.
But when the gear doesn't go up to your smallest, to your biggest gear in the rear, it's
Right.
And
it's rough.
you've also got some brake issues too. And
So
there's
it's-
a lot.
we gotta
Yeah.
just bust in.
So
You
like
know
I
what?
said,
I'm
just
at the
go to a
point where I'm
shop.
like, oh, okay.
or do you want to do it?
I was like, bring it over. What's the worst we could do?
Here's the thing. I
That's
think this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring it over. He's gonna just massacre it, and then I'll fix it. In the end.
Well, that's the thing at this point. It's
And
like,
we'll videotape the entire
we'll
process.
videotape it.
It's
You'll
gonna
be
be
like,
great
wow,
content.
Pat is a dipshit.
but that's the thing though. It's like anymore. Like it can't get worse.
Yeah.
because it is.
You're
It
not
is
riding.
at rock bottom.
Yeah, you're not
So-
riding it.
And I would love to ride that
Yeah.
bike, especially if I put on the other wheels.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will be a gravel rider if I get that put
You
together.
have a steel framed
Right.
gravel bike, which is a beautiful steel frame bike. And you have two sets of wheels.
Right.
You have 27 5s and you have 29s. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But how
And-
much does your bike weigh? I mean, like, I'm not trying to be
His is a
total
little
full
heavy.
Does it
roadie.
weigh?
His is a little heavy.
That's what I'm
A
like.
lot.
It's a cool bike.
not a lot.
It's
I
just-
mean, not bike. Well,
It's
you're
probably
new-
like upper 20s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just that's my only point is
Yeah.
it's a killer bike.
But it is like bringing a knife to it.
It's just like being a knife to gunfight. I mean, like honestly, even my Cervelo that like. And this is all first world problems, but it's
Yeah.
like my Cervelo probably weighs like 19 pounds, and it's like most roadies now are riding on equipment like Paul's that's like,
Yeah.
14.5 or something.
I don't know if Paul's is that light. He's got
Paul's
rim,
is-
he's got rim brakes on.
Paul's
it,
is
you know?
right on the UCI limit. And
Yeah,
it is.
and it's
twitchy.
SRAM red. Yeah,
I've-
it's light.
The one time I rode Paul's bike was because I'm used to that like sturdy, somewhat heavier aero frame, and his bike is. It freaked me out riding it because it
Really?
is so light. Yeah.
It's light.
Asshole.
I know.
I haven't.
This is-
no wonder I can't hold
This
his
is
wheel.
the only reason.
I just need a new bike.
You just need a bike.
That's always it.
There we go.
You can buy speed.
What do you guys consider to make a gravel rider? What is the like? Okay, I'm a cyclist, but I'm a gravel cyclist. I mean, is
Yeah,
there
that's-
is there a prerequisite? Yes, I'm categorizing cyclists, so don't at me. I'm
gonna at you on this
because you know what?
podcast.
Mountain bike riders, you guys, you got baggy shorts. You most of the time platform pedals, stuff like that. I consider myself a mountain bike rider, but I'm not a mountain biker because I wear Lycra and stuff like that. We are all different, even though we're on two wheels. And I'm not saying one's bad. I'm just saying if I showed up with a bunch of mountain bikers, they'd be like, look at the roadie on his hardtail.
Yeah.
So what is a gravel rider? What does it take in terms of, how often we're guessing here because I apparently got one guy who's only done it like twice and one guy who's done it. Now I've done a shit ton of gravel riding, I guess compared to you assholes because, I'm the guy who's like going out twice a month.
Yeah.
It's gravel bike, so we're all full of shit.
Here's the reality
yeah.
is that I'm about to surpass all of you in this next season because like I
Bullshit.
didn't get my bike until the end of last season.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have like my season is.
What's your
gravel.
bike made out of, Sam?
I have a
Is it steel?
It's steel, but it's carbon and steel.
Oh.
It's really light steel.
Well, Jackson has a carbon fork.
Yeah, mine has carbon fork, carbon rear seat stays. So it's
Oh, okay.
yeah. But I weighed at one point. It was something like 21 pounds.
Oh.
It's still very light, and that's with fully weighted.
Because
So-
I know some gravel riders. You know, the mile heads for specifics. You know, when I talk to those guys, that's their jam. That's what they do. 98% of their rides feature predominantly off road, gravel roads. So is there a
gravel cyclist.
A gravel cyclist?
I don't know. I mean, I think that I'm going to be the progressive millennial and just say that I'm a cyclist. And that means that I'm everything.
I'm gonna be
I'm a
the
peacock.
Don't
You gotta
judge
let me
me.
fly.
I'm gonna be the no generation person because I was never categorized as one.
Oh my god!
So
Yeah.
I
you
think
just one up me.
I think yes, there is 1,000% a category for all of us.
Yeah.
And every single like iteration of a cyclist has to prove the fact that we ride each terrain.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
gravel cyclists, I am recently becoming annoyed with because I find that the gravel cyclist is almost the same as when the word hipster
Sure.
was first spoke from the mouths of babes.
Yeah.
And so it's like everybody had to prove like, oh, I do things in the most annoying way. I listen to vinyl not because I enjoy it, just because it's an annoying hassle. And so I'm not calling out the people that are listening to vinyl. I'm calling out the people.
I listen to vinyl, but I agree with you. It is an annoying hassle.
Yeah, well, because you have to flip it, you have to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like the people that wear like. I'm not calling out anyone in particular, but I'm thinking of an image from an Instagram post that I recently saw. Why do you have to wear a cowboy hat? Why do you have to now wear a flannel with your rides? Like, that is becoming
hate that shit.
I kind of do too now, and it's like that's becoming like the poster child of what a gravel cyclist
He's
is.
becoming a curmudgeon.
Well,
I love it.
It's
I
a
know.
little. It's like
like
a,
father,
My
like
boy's
son.
growing
I know.
up.
but it's like it's a little annoying because it's like why do you have to prove
Yeah.
that you're this like, oh, I'm so progressive and cool. It's like, just if you don't say anything about it, I believe it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I know, for instance, that I'm willing to do all of the rides, but I don't have to go out and tell everybody.
Yeah.
And so I find that now a gravel cyclist feels like they have to tell you that they ride gravel, or they have to not wear the traditional cycling clothes, which nothing against you if you do that, but it's like they have to let you know.
Yeah.
Like, hey, did you know that I have pockets on my on the
Oh man,
sides
I'm one
of
of
my
those
shorts?
guys
I
that just
hate
likes
those
to be really annoying. If you do something particular in a sport, I'm going to do it different.
Or the
You are?
I like
Yeah.
to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
the shit that gets me the most is when you are riding an aero frame and you show up with a
Baggy
bar bag
shirt or
a
bar
bar
bag.
or a bar bag or a baggy shirt. That is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
And the person that shows up with a bar bag and an aero bike is the person that is going to try and go to the front and just rip it apart. And
Yeah.
that's a gravel rider.
Unless they're bar bag, baggy shirt, all that kind of stuff, and just over the top, and you can tell by their attitude that they really don't give a shit that they're on an aero frame.
See, I think that like my perspective from that is like I would like to be the guy that shows up with hairy legs, bar bag, whatever it is, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm still faster than you. It's like
There's such
like
a difference,
that
though.
because like we get so caught up in the aesthetic of it, and it's like maybe I just like I have an aero bike because when I race road, this is my advantage, but like all the other times, I don't really care.
Paul's not here, but there are things that
He's particular.
Well, but there are things about gravel cycling that Paul doesn't realize that he is. I mean, we've been riding gravel roads in our road races for decades around this area, and that's he's a road cyclist who's riding a road. The road just happens to be gravel, and I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't it seem like the term didn't come out until disc brakes were created and we could vary our tire width?
Mm-hmm. It's like when we
would you
made a
say that's the
cyclocross bike
Yeah.
with more clearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you guys say that was what
Yeah.
gave birth to this entire thing? Because we've been riding gravel roads. We've had sections of gravel roads in a lot of road races here, especially around here, because we get pushed out from the city, and so we're like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna get farther out. Oh, we're gonna ride this. I mean, when I was in the '80s, I was doing we had a spring road race that started, and within the third mile, you were on this dirt climb that is nasty, super steep. And that it blew the entire race apart. And so,
Yeah. I mean, it begs the question. It's like, I'm just looking at what Paul's saying.
Paul's already texting. Yeah. I guess I wasn't really needed on this topic. Jackson is speaking the truth.
Oh my gosh.
Paul's sitting
You guys
there.
are kindred spirits.
Paul's sitting there in his hospital bed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that surprises me.
What the boy said.
Yeah. The thing that surprises me about this whole thing is that, like, when would you say this started? 2017, 2018?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The term really
Yeah.
started to kick in. Probably.
2018.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that was when it first started.
Yeah.
Because really, I feel like the technology's always been there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been there. Like when I was working in a bike shop, and I left in 2016 was the last year that I worked in a bike shop, and we had cyclocross bikes that you could absolutely take on all those. It's just the people weren't like making routes out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
'cause
Like
I just think it's surprising that this is still like, not that this is still a topic, but that we're still like have the newness of it, because this could have been something so long ago, just another category.
let's just term it something else. Let's just call it like rough road riding, and Paul will be on board. Just have the word road in there, and
Yeah.
he'll be happy.
So the racing itself, though, is a different beast unto itself. We are currently in this, I don't know if I want to say we're in the birth, the infancy of gravel still, but I think we are. After going through the mountain bike birth and growth of mountain biking with its popularity, with its surge in popularity and things like that, I would say we're still in that phase with gravel. But the racing style still 100% distance based. It is endurance based type of racing, attrition type of racing. Is this something you guys are into, or could gravel, in your opinion, use some variety?
I mean, it's not necessarily something that suits me like the best.
Okay.
Because I have a timer, and when that timer is up, that's when the whole day
When
is
the
up.
lights go out.
Yeah, and so like I think when we did the chafe, this
3, 2, 1.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
When we did the chafe this last year, that was like reaching a limit for me. That I like,
Wow.
and that
We're
was
gonna
100
break
miles.
that this year.
Well, that was a very lucky day too.
Yeah.
I think that I got lucky on the nutrition part of it, because usually my body just like goes through stuff quick.
You were braking?
Yeah, I was at the end where I thought I was gonna throw up at the end.
Pat's over here like, I was broken
Yeah, exactly. I was broken with 20
miles ago.
With 20 miles to go. I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
See, but then at
You're
that
like,
point it was like,
Dad, you feeling okay? I'm like, no.
but that was just pure motivation. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, we're gonna win this.
Yeah,
We got
yeah,
like I
that's
gotta
true.
let it
That's
go.
true.
Yeah.
So like I think that's the difficult part for me. I would love, like, I think a gravel crit's a great idea, but it's also like you're on a surface that doesn't necessarily
More
provide
corners
itself.
and all
yeah,
that
it
stuff.
doesn't really provide itself for a crit format with all the slipping.
Really?
No,
you'd
yeah,
have to
gravel
have pretty
crit
hard
wouldn't
packed
work.
gravel.
Gravel
disagree.
circuit would work,
Yeah.
but like gravel crit wouldn't work.
But isn't a gravel crit like a gravel? My other question was going to be, is a short gravel loop just a cyclocross race in the summer?
I don't think if it's dismount. Cyclocross is such a specifically categorized
And it's like tight
sport.
corners and all this stuff, off camber turns, like
Pinwheels, all that
Yeah.
bullshit. Yeah.
But I think what would be a lot of fun,
No.
is honestly like give us a 40-mile gravel race.
yeah,
Like
that would be killer.
that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember in collegiate Walla Walla one year, Whitman hosted a crit that was honestly like the crit was, I would call it gravel. Like it was pretty loose.
Yeah.
What is it when we like
Oh, it's the
tar and then put over
Oh, chip seal.
chip
yeah.
seal.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah, yeah.
you. Whoa.
Which is horrible.
Oh my
shit.
God.
Yeah.
This Ambassador Bike Fit portion could be rough. If I have another beer. Anyway, chip seal.
Yeah.
Pretty rough chip seal. And it felt like a gravel race for a crit. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think it's gravel racing. I'm excited about it. Like,
I enjoy it.
I will say this. So, like, this is like what I wanted to touch on the topic is that I was actually laying in bed yesterday morning or this morning, days blur together. And
Sam,
I
your
signed
mic's
up.
on. Be careful. You just started with laying in bed, and I was like, dude.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And I signed up for the Ephrata for people that are not in the area.
I did that last year.
Think of Middle Earth, scab land, on the moon, winds blowing sideways.
I did that last year on my road bike.
Here's the deal. I'll do a gravel race with you guys. I'll put my name down right now if it is not in the middle of Washington.
So, yes, I agree
I
with
will
you.
do that.
But what about Leavenworth? That fits you.
That's way different.
That's Middle Washington.
But that's way less shitty than
That is. I agree.
Ephrata.
I agree. But what my point is on this is that Ephrata, I am on the wait list.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
They said sign up early, and I obviously didn't sign up early because I wasn't thinking I was actually going to do this. It's like 4 days after I get back from Maui, but I was like, might as well take the cold plunge back into the reality of.
peaked right then.
Oh, totally. But
Yeah.
like, I'm going to come from like warm tropic weather to.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, well, I should get myself out. So I signed up, and I was like, oh, wait list? Shit.
Yeah.
And anyway, they have a wait list. Like, that's where I'm like, man, I think that this is like, I would love to see more road races, and I'm excited to do. I'm going to sign up for the one here in Spokane, but I think that there's just like, people need to do more gravel races if that's what's available.
I did that race last year. By the way, it's a fondo, and I
know.
also want to talk about the difference between a fondo and a gravel race. But
Wait,
we'll
are there okay.
We'll get to that
Okay.
here in a second. I did that last year, and I did it on a road bike with 28s. And by the way, because a lot of it's road, and
I know.
I was fine, but I was not fine. I flatted 4 times.
Yeah.
And it was bad, and I did not have the right bike. Because I wanted to have the right bike for the road sections. It turned out bad because I was with the front group until I just started flatting left and right, and then it just turned into a train wreck. But it's a good deal. But we are in this phase right now with gravel racing where everything has to be 80, 90, 100, 200 miles, and that.
Well, they offer a 40.
But are the fast people
No, because
going
fast
to
people
show up to
are
that?
hard men and they can do 90.
Yeah, hard men and women.
And
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Okay. You got me. You got me.
Is
Progressive Pat.
gentlemen, is Perry-Roubaix a gravel race? No.
No.
Paul's screaming at his phone right now. Is Strada Bianca a gravel
yes,
race?
it is. No.
Why?
It's not. Because it's not chunky gravel.
And I think when you have to categorize something as
No.
What?
Yeah, no. I'm going to stand on this. I'm going to stand here until the day I die.
The stuff I rode in Ephrata was milder than Strada Bianca's
Then why did you flat 4 times?
because it was gravel still.
Because it was chunky.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't chunky. It was gravel, and I was on road tires.
Yeah, but I'm talking like
With
there
tubes.
are packed road, like gravel road, which is basically what Gravel Worlds was this year.
Okay, I also
Right?
I got a lot of questions about that too.
So
Yeah,
there's that, and then there's like
was
the
Gravel
Palouse
Worlds
gravel.
was Gravel Worlds a proper gravel race?
No, not at all.
Okay,
Not
but
at all.
it
That
was Gravel Worlds.
yeah, but
Yeah, but it's the UCI properly ruining anything.
Okay,
yeah, I think that first of all, Strada Bianca, I don't think is because I think in a gravel race, if you have to qualify sectors, in a lot of cases, I think that teeters on whether or not it can be considered a gravel race. BWR, I know you were about to bring that up. Did I take the words right out of your mouth?
How did you do that?
BWR is different because how many times can you name the amount we went on single track? And I know you can because we did. And so I think that in Strada Bianca, at no point are they ever on any terrain any more severe than what a hard-packed gravel road is. And when you look at those gravel roads, they're more dirty roads than they are gravel roads.
Mostly chip seal.
But you keep using the word gravel roads, and the race is a gravel race.
However, look at, well,
I think Strada Bianca is a gravel race.
I think it could be verging on, but I think
Paris-Roubaix is a gravel race, but it's just been classified originally in the traditional mind as a road race.
Yeah, but it's cobblestones.
It's
cobblestones are not
paved.
gravel.
Yes, it has
That is original
paving.
pavement.
And so there is a different category here. And that's why I think Strada Bianca is because you...
Trobo-Leon.
Well, that's a different race in and of itself. I think that's a weird race.
Yeah. But is it a gravel race?
That's more of a mountain bike race.
All right. So basically what we're saying is it's not a gravel race, even though it's on gravel roads. Now, yes, there are requirements that it has to have a specific percentage of gravel roads. So Strada Bianca would be a gravel race if it was on more gravel roads. Now, we did Belgian Waffle, and I would consider that not necessarily a gravel race.
However,
because we spent a lot of time on the road.
I definitely agree with you, and that is something I really find interesting. However, are these pro races 131 miles?
Not Strada Bianca.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think it's all a ratio. And I think
that's what I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's kind of bullshit.
BWR is a weird one, for sure.
Yeah. Especially the original, the California one that we're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know about their other courses.
The other ones are way more gravelly.
Yeah. I think I know the answer to this one. Would any of you ever put aero bars on a gravel bike?
No.
Nope.
Okay, good. What is your opinion on some of the other fashion trends of gravel? I talk about bar bags. We talked about bar bags, shorts with pockets, gravel-specific lenses on glasses. Did you see that shit recently? I can't remember who it is. Not Gooder.
Good.
Who's actually creating a gravel-specific lens for their glasses. What is it? Does it make every bottle of water look like beer? And, everybody has a mustache.
And plaid
This is me with the
tits.
guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I think that's a little bit of like, let's trick the kids.
Camelbacks with hydration packs.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you guys with all these things?
Yeah, so I'll jump on this first. I will say pockets on bibs, 10 out of 10. Those should exist everywhere. I've worn them on road rides.
Really?
Yeah, and especially on gravel, I will say, because it's just you're on undulating terrain, you're bobbing up and down. It's so much easier to just quickly grab that. It's just like when we had put, the gels in our leg sleeve and take it out there. It's so much easier access.
Never did that. But
you never did that?
No.
You didn't race fast enough.
Oh. Ow!
Or gels weren't in existence when you were racing. Double sting.
I guess. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Well, I will say, I guess to support Sam, you did have your bars looking like Eddie Merckx behind you at one point.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying that you're. I'm gonna go to the camera
Do you
behind
think that
you.
dude ate?
Your hoods. I'm sorry, but if your hoods are that low, you are in so much pain.
Do you think that
It's a goddamn gorgeous photo.
No, I'm not saying it's not.
You have a problem with
no,
Eddie?
No, I'm not saying it's a bad picture. I'm just saying that looks like it sucks. The fact that you are almost reaching
totally
behind yourself to reach your brakes, that's
gels didn't
You
exist
know that
back
would
I
hurt.
have no idea what you're talking about. All I just you'd rock your forefingers back a little bit, and those are what would be on the hoods. Your forefingers, because I saw Phil Anderson do it that way, and you just have those just sitting up there, and then
The arthritis would just begin
you'd be
to kick
bent
in.
a little bit. And you'd be
I wonder
low.
where your shoulder issues came from.
My father.
Yeah, you're right. It has nothing to do with bikes. Yeah, but other stuff. Back to what we were talking about.
Sorry.
I will say shorts, great agree with. Bar bags, honestly, are you really like I had one for part of the across the state trip because I like hid a battery pack in there and a few other things when I was riding. Never once have I been able to like reach and like unzip that thing while
you're
I'm riding.
I can't either.
So like why do you have a bar bag unless you're doing like a trip and you are trying to carry extra stuff?
Self-sufficient.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Like that.
So there's a lot of things that I think don't make sense.
I own a bar bag. I didn't use it in Belgian waffle because I remember I was like, "Oh, I'm going to take my extra." I'm such an idiot. I take these GoPros thinking I'm going to create this master documentary, on the way.
Yeah.
I'm just going, when shall I put the play button? And I don't do shit with my cameras on my rides. But I take all this stuff with me because I think I'm this, this content creating genius. I'm not that. And then did you take yours on Belgian
The
Waffle?
GoPro?
Belgian Waffle. Your frame bag. I mean, a bar bag.
Yeah.
You did? What was in there?
Food, tools, all just the stuff I needed that I didn't want to carry on my back. And I did use it.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you access it while riding?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A couple times.
Maybe it's
Wait, the frame bag you did or
The bar bag.
bar bag?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking frame bags?
well, no. I was talking bar
there are
bag.
a lot of those guys who are out there with frame bags too.
I
You know, you see-
could actually access a frame bag easier than I could a bar bag.
But I also wonder about the guys who are doing Unbound, 200 miler, technically supposed to be self-sufficient, but they're still pulling into a pit stop and they're refueling and taking stuff with them, right?
Yeah, but
It's very specific, I think, that
They
the
can
help
grab
that they
gels
can
and
receive.
stuff like that, though, can't
They
they?
cannot. I think they cannot receive it from other people. If
have
they
to-
set it on the table, they can pick it up and grab it themselves.
Which is bullshit. Come
So
on.
it's technically self-sufficient if they are the ones
we just
supplying it.
come by this farmer's house and you happen to have a table full of all these wonderful gels and bars.
But that's only at the feed zones, and I don't
Come
don't quote
with
me on
me, and you'll be in a world of pure hydration.
this. Well, and they have these mechanics too, so it's like it is not an even game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, here, let me take your bike, but I can't touch it. You just grabbed it. So
yeah. I don't know. It's weird rules.
I did buy a hydration pack, one of those backpack ones, but I didn't buy. I bought one made by, I can't remember the name of the brand. It was like a triathlon brand because it was more of a form fitting thing, and I started to use it for the Midnight Century, but I didn't have anything hooked up well, and it was leaking like crazy. And I put it on just to leave for the house, and it was soaked. I'm like, it's midnight. I'm not wearing this thing, so I really haven't used it.
yeah, I have like a medium-sized pack that I bought for the purpose of like if I do like a longer gravel ride, I can take that with me. But I haven't ever done one of those like more form-fitting ones.
I'm gonna piss off a percentage. Fanny packs, yes or no?
Mountain biking, yes.
Mountain biking.
Mm-hmm. I wear a fanny pack when I mountain bike.
Why?
It's just easier.
When in Rome.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think like to carry the extra stuff that I have to carry for like tire plugs and things like that. I don't have I have a pretty basic mountain bike, so I don't have like the SWAT storage stuff that I can.
Yeah.
Many people have drifted towards gravel because of specific reasons, and one of them primarily seems to be they say that the roads have become too dangerous. The gravel roads are safer, things like that, less populated. Express your opinions on that one. What do you guys think about that? People thinking if I go out in the middle of nowhere, I'm better off. I don't want to ride in traffic. I mean, we can all support people who do that, but we also are an equal opportunity offender on this show, and we can say you're full of shit, man, because I've been chased by dogs and been coal rolled by more rednecks out in the middle of nowhere than I ever have.
Mm-hmm. It's all relative, Like I think everywhere you go, you're gonna get some sort of road issue, no matter what. And
gravel rage,
well, yeah,
gravel grumps.
Yeah, Seriously, and
That makes him sound too nice.
but like the further out you get, the more people are going to be like, "What the hell are you doing out here? You don't belong out here."
Yeah.
Like that's bound to happen. And also, how do you get to the gravel roads?
Mm-hmm.
You got to ride on road, right? So it's like, really, yes, the roads can be sometimes a dangerous place, but I think spreading the narrative of the roads are always a dangerous place is way more dangerous, because then you get tentative riders who don't read situations well, and you get anger that spreads between cyclist and driver, because if you have a cyclist that is angry and they anger the driver now thinks that all cyclists are the offending party. So it's like, just ride and have your instincts that you have when you drive, but heightened a little bit.
Man, okay, I'm going to chime in here. That radar thing,
That's gotta be cool.
you guys, I'm telling you, get one.
When you're talking
Unreal.
about
That Garmin radar that I bought, I thought this is.
See,
like,
I have a problem.
At the first time that I got it, I was like,
It's like
"Eh,
a
probably-"
nerdy. It's a nerdy third eye.
I know, but it is cool. So first off, it flashes a different, like, when it detects a car, it'll start like blinking irregularly to be like, "Hey, asshole, look at this guy up here."
Okay.
Is it the Garmin one?
It's the Garmin one. And they it was so cool how I didn't realize how many times I look over, because I only used it. So I rode outside 3 times, as I shared with all you guys, bragging, this last weekend. But I had not ridden outside since I got that thing. And I was checking over my shoulder so much. And I was like, because I didn't really trust this new radar thing. Well, all of a sudden, there was one time I'm looking down and my things flashing orange, and I'm like, "There's a car."
Now, you say your thing is flashing orange.
My Wahoo
So your head unit
is a Wahoo, and the tail light thing is a Garmin.
and but it sends a message to your head
To the
unit?
Wahoo, and the Wahoo flashes bright orange if a car is coming, and it shows you a little car on your screen for how far back it is. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. And then I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, this thing is wrong." And I turn around, sure as shit, it's back there a ways. And then as it gets closer, it stays orange if it's just like, "Hey, there's a car, be aware."
Yeah.
And if it's hauling ass and or it's close to you, it starts flashing red. Yeah.
Like, this guy's a twat.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
See, now that also brings up the point, though. Do I want to know if
When
I'm
you're gonna
going to die?
It's, I
And
mean,
my
I want
answer's
to.
no.
Yeah, okay, I agree
The
with you.
hard
But
part is the dead people
you're
you
gonna
can't
die
interview
either.
to say, "Were you happy to
Yeah.
know before you
I
died?"
want and that's it.
I agree with you. And,
Do you
and
think
previously
there
I
would
would
be
say
like
that.
do you think there'd be like a "what the"? And
want
that
s-
would be the last thing you ever
Previously, I would say that, but a lot of the time, because it
Oh,
flashed
God,
probably
flip
in
that
the
shit off.
in the 3 rides that I did, it probably flashed 2 times bright red. One of them was an a-hole that was too close to me and was just being a jerk, right? But then the other one was a guy just going too fast for the area, and it was flashing red. And it's I just moved over as far as I could, and I know that this guy's coming up
said. Wow.
fast. I don't know. It was and so why I relate this to gravel.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that for sure on gravel, because you're out in the middle of nowhere, and if a car comes up behind you, it's even more startling because you're in the middle of nowhere,
Right.
and all of a sudden a car is here.
But okay,
You think you hear it. I'm telling you, you don't.
I disagree. I hear it, especially when you're in the
You
middle of
do
nowhere.
hear it, but it's this, so far back. It's insane.
See, what is happening is technology is taking away the development of the sixth sense that cyclists develop. Mm-hmm. After a while, I can look at a car in traffic and I can go, "That person doesn't see me. He's going to pull out in front of me," and he does. I can look in traffic and I can say, "That guy's going to change lanes before he even does." It is a sixth sense. It is a psychic ability that
Totally.
that you develop that
But
we
you
can all
see
agree
that-
exists.
I agree with you 100%.
I think that in the middle of nowhere, on a mountain, on a gravel bike, if you can't hear somebody driving up behind you in a gigantic truck with dually pipes sticking out of the top going,
I'm gonna kill this motherfucker.
Oh, there it was. I just ran out of F-bombs.
Yep.
But
But like that's not what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of the car that I don't hear, and I'm in the middle of the road, and then all of a sudden they're like laying on the horn behind me because they've been sitting back there quietly in their Prius on a gravel road.
don't get me started on Prius.
Yeah, I know. I hate Priuses.
Okay. All right. Okay. Last question about gravel is the difference between a Fondo and a gravel race. Ephrata, a race coming up here soon. Race, quote unquote race. It is called the Ephrata Fondo. People race it. Belgian waffle. Even a technical mountain bike race such as Leadville, which I have done, is in essence a mass start event. Now, the elite start early, the elite start at the front of the field, things like that. Has gravel, and in this case, these Lifetime Series races and these types of races, have they figured out what road cycling hasn't? You have a mass start event, everybody's involved, everybody's finish is happy, and they're all going against themselves. When they cross the start line, their chip registers. When they cross the finish line, their chip registers. Have they figured out what road cycling can't seem to pull out of its own ass?
Yes.
Yeah. No, Jackson. Sam said yes. Jackson shook his head on an audio podcast. No.
Well, it's because I thought you were going to say something, but the reason why I don't think so is because there is always a competitive, like when you reach the top, that's when it gets the most competitive. And just like road cycling, if a road fondo, if you don't want to be competitive, you don't have to be. But if you want to reach that top, that's where the elite competition is going to be. It's no different than in gravel. Like cycling has plenty of different iterations, but no matter what, once you reach that top end, everybody's going to be judging and looking at each other and saying, I'm better than you, I'm more elite than you. It's just I over my years about observing what gravel looks like, part of me wonders if the popularity is because it's different from what the old curmudgeons are doing, and the new younger generation is taking it over. Let's say a younger generation comes into road cycling and says that it's popular. We're in a social media era, people. No matter what, whatever is popular there is going to be popular with us.
I'm trying to figure out what you're saying.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, it's because it's new and it's exciting and people are talking about it online. That's why I think it's so successful, and that's why I don't think they've done anything different. I just think that's why people like it the most.
I disagree, because I think that they have done something different in the Fondo style that they have like collected, because I will never forget being a Cat 4 and having friends and people that I knew that were Cat 1, 2, and I was like, I cannot wait to be at that level. And I'm telling you right now, if you lined me up next to them, I would have been foaming at the mouth until I was out the back. And like that's what's cool about a gravel race, right? Like if you look at some of the earlier renditions of like the Vegan Cyclist, like he did some of those bigger races and he tried to hang with like Lachlan Morton and some of those like fast guys in some of those events, and right out the back, right? Like, but he was with them for the first like 20 miles, and that was so exciting and awesome. And then it's like, and guess what? You're suffering for the next 180.
Yeah,
I think that that's a cool thought. Like in a road race, that would kind of sort itself out too. Because like, man, I would love for like the 4 or 5s, even the 3s that think like, oh yeah, I'm the hottest shit in the earth. It's like, come on up, bud. Come on up.
I think that is also dependent upon the fact that gravel right now is an endurance-based event. If you had a 5-mile circuit,
be a different.
You could not a race organizer could not keep track of everybody. You wouldn't be able to say you can finish whenever you want.
I am talking true endurance. You're right.
I'm trying to figure out a way to make the accessibility of gravel, which is wonderful right now, on a closed, shorter course. You can't do it, and that's where road runs into the problems.
Well, but to get back to the question, it's like I feel like all the things we've talked about, they haven't really changed. They haven't really reinvented the wheel. of like
Road?
have they done anything different? You know,
I mean,
Gravel?
mass
Yeah.
start though.
Yeah.
but
But I mean, there was road mass start fondos. But I'm just saying, like, if you made that into a competitive race, where like you got points for if you were first through 20th, right?
yeah, but isn't there also a gravel world or not a gravel worlds, but a Grand Fondo worlds?
There is.
Shut up.
There
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate
So-
cycling sometimes.
Really, I think really no matter what, it all goes back down. It all comes trickling back down to that core of of competitive nature. It's like no matter what, every single version of what cycling is always going to have that competitive nature that eventually reaches the top, and then it's always the same.
But it also comes down to the fact that the human nature is, and especially has become the fact that I pay this money to start this event. I want to be able to finish this event, and I want to be able to get a time, and I want a medal, and I want a cookie. And unfortunately, in road cycling, if you enter a crit and you get dropped after a lap and a half, Phil Miller's standing in the center of the road with his hat, his straw hat on, and his blue shirt, and he's telling you to go sit down.
You're not good enough.
And you're saying, why did I sign up for this? That's why road numbers are going to continue to suffer, and gravel numbers are going to continue to go up.
But then I think about it, it's like what road racer out there right now is going to say, I want that to change?
A lot, especially the reason why our sport is dying is it consists 90% of middle-aged white men.
I'm going to ask each of you right now, though. Tell me right now you're in a crit and somebody is...
Oh, I don't want some hack in a crit. No,
well,
hell no.
Like, exactly, though. That's what's so tough about road cycling.
I
It's
wouldn't
like-
change a crit. A crit has to always be a road event and it has to stay traditional
Yeah.
to what it was. I agree with you in that.
Yeah.
Like that, it has to be categorized.
Poor argument is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like,
But for road, I think that it could be changed.
yeah.
Like
but-
a road race?
Yeah, like a road race. That's what I'm saying. Like you line up with me, we all line up together, and it's like the fastest on the day wins.
I do, yeah, okay. I do like that, like on a road race scenario where it's like you don't have to work your way up. Yeah.
I don't want Billy, who's just got his brand new bike, riding with me though. So yes,
No.
I am a hypocrite because I also don't want these underexperienced riders.
I think what could...
That's what you do. You
Yeah.
learn how to properly ride in races with underexperienced
Right.
riders.
Yeah, and I think that's what could change about road cycling, though, is rather than earning the category, you can more pick the category based on your experiential level. For instance, this is going to sound like I'm having a bragging moment, but I know I should not be a Cat 4.
You should.
I should
should.
I
It's
should be
bullshit.
able to
Yeah,
choose a
yeah,
Cat 3 or a Cat 2 right now.
Yeah.
And it's just, like it's those type of things about road cycling that are frustrating that gravel riding you don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just what I'm saying is like, because if it was changed and there was still some like, way that we could like add up points where like you could enter a road race and it was a road fondo. I'm just using that word because it's already known. And you got third overall out of 150 people and you got enough upgrade points to be a Cat 3. Great.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying it could be, right? And then from there, like, yeah, you might get a pool of faster people that don't know how to quite handle a bike in the upper categories, but welcome to the 1-2s. You get triathletes that are like freak wattage numbers that have solo time trialed through like, stage races, and it's like they have no clue how to handle it. Crit.
And I think when I originally was talking about how like why I think gravel is so big with like the social media side of it, it's like I don't have anything against like the whole gravel movement. I just think that some of the love for it and the kind of little things for it have been kind of blown out of proportion.
It's cool and it's new. It's hip.
Exactly.
I think you said that earlier.
Yeah, we're a moth to a flame.
Yeah.
We as people are. So I think that's why I think it draws such heavy numbers rather than like it's new and innovative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mountain biking was just, oh my God. In the 90s, mountain biking was just, everybody was doing it. And it killed road cycling, and everything's killing road cycling. Okay. I don't know if we came to any solutions, but I don't think that's our job to come to any solutions.
No, our job is just to,
just people
throw out opinions.
listen to us slowly getting drunk.
Maybe USAC could change their categorization.
Yeah.
That would be so
method.
great.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying is that especially in this new world of like there's so many people that were my era that have like since kind of stepped away, I could confidently step back into a 1-2 race. But like, there's a lot of people like you that really need to be a 1-2.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason that you're in the 4-5s besides there's just no events. So we have to find a way that like we can move.
He's being
points.
punished because he can't
there's
travel
no
the
events.
races.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it all trickles down to why is the sport so expensive, and we could just go down a whole tunnel of.
All right, let's switch gears. Time for quick tips. Do you have a quick tip for us?
I
quick
do.
Tips with Bike Fit. Sam, brought to us by Ambassador Cycling. This is the best thing you can do for your riding outside of airing up your tires, and I mean that seriously. And by the way, I don't know if you know, but you are now global. I mentioned you on the podcast last week because somebody was saying we have recommendations at the end of every episode, and one of the guys said, "Well, proper bike fit." I said, "Well, funny you should mention that." So now you're global. So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're gonna have people coming in going, "Oi, Sam, get my bike fat."
I have had that experience before. Yeah, well, first off, I would like to plug that I am going to be doing a fit night what is today, Tuesday? Thursday night up at Wheel Sport North.
Oh.
Right, so we're doing like I'm going to do a live bike fit and answer a bunch of questions and everything. So if there's people out there that want to come to that, come on up.
Nice. Thursday, which is the 16th of February.
Exactly, at 6:30, Wheel Sport North in Spokane. I will be there answering questions and doing a live fit. But my big thing is for winter riding, a lot of new trainers have modified this. And I was actually talking to my friend who's the gravel racer, and he found his own little loop around it. So new trainers have a little bit of float in them, right? So you get that rocking side to side, which is super critical. And man, every time I get on the bike in the spring, I'm always like, whoa, the bike moves different.
Yeah.
You know, because like you're so used to being fixed. First off, start off by making sure that your bike is properly level. A lot of those wheel blocks are not the right size for your tire and or rim width. So just take some simple pieces of wood, put them underneath, like once you have your bike in the trainer, if you have a wheel on, put them underneath that rear wheel, and if they fit perfectly up underneath that rear wheel, that means that you are now level.
Oh, okay.
Slide up to the front, you're level. Something that I like to do is put a little bit of foam underneath the back of the trainer so it'll kind of float side to side. It's a good cheat.
Shit.
Yeah, so you can put like a yoga mat or something like that back there, but anything that has enough kind of give to float side to side, and that'll give you, a little bit of float so that you're rocking a little bit more naturally.
Have you seen the guys who have these full-on boards that shift forward and back? And
I met a guy who engineered his own.
Really? Yeah, that's what I've also seen. You know, people are putting tennis balls under plywood and all kinds of stuff like that.
So a cheaper, way easier route is like, I'm telling you, get a yoga mat and fold it 3 times and stick it back there. Take into account that you are going to have to add a little bit of, height to your front wheel to make sure that it's level. But yeah, it's a great way to prevent low back pain and get a little bit of the pelvic rock that we call it in bike fit.
That's
makes trainer rides way more comfortable.
Yeah. I remember earlier trainers where I'm going to be disgusting, where you're just like going, hey, you know what? I can't not only feel my balls, but I can't feel a good portion of my pelvis right now.
The clown has no penis.
It was like that. I'm just like going, nothing. I feel nothing.
Yeah.
It's just, maybe it's a little cold because I'm sweating. That's it.
That's the fixed position. I'm telling you. That rock that they've come out with new trainers is killer, but you can modify it for old stuff.
Well, that's good. Okay. That's a good one. So let's have some fun on our way out, you guys. It is Valentine's Day. And so we're gonna talk about the fact that we've got 3 guys sitting here on Valentine's Day. Each of us have significant others, and apparently it's okay.
Yeah,
we married up.
Yeah. Let's talk about Valentine's Day. Let's talk about romance and cycling. Can you make a cycling date work? What would need to be considered if you wanted to actually include bike riding on a date? Now, we're all going to have to go back to the days. Jackson, you've got a girlfriend.
This isn't a fair fight.
A fiance. But you have a cyclist wife, right?
That's not a fair fight.
My wife was not a cyclist when we met. so think about it. Try to figure out a way of somebody who's dating right now, who's trying to create, they're into cycling and their partner might not be, their new partner might not be. Could you make a cycling date work? What would need to be considered?
E-bikes.
Yeah, there you go. That's not a bad way.
I think it has to be cute in the sense that you cannot be riding for fitness. I think you have to be
It's
riding.
not sweaty.
Yeah, I think you have to be riding for fun in like pretty area.
Okay.
And I know you probably think of it differently because your wife is into it more, but
Yeah.
it's like I think that if you're early on in dating, you got to be careful because I think that you can kind of scare people if you're like, if you don't get on the bike, I'm not going to be with you. You know, it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What's your VO2?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And like, but that's what I was thinking of is like, because some of the cool things is like my big part is where a bike can take me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about like stuff with my wife. As I was talking about, I mapped out this really cool route to go from Spokane down to Palouse. It's about 100 miles. It's out in rolling wheat, fields.
Yeah.
Cool small town out here in Washington. And I was like, I'm going to probably just do this in a weekend. My wife's like, that could be fun. I'm like, I love you. And you know what? I would make anything like I would carry all the weight if that's the case that she wants. But like you could pick where I'm going with this. You could pick a cool destination, right? And like it could be anywhere from like 6 of us 20 miles away, and like get an e-bike for a couple days and like they'd be able to bike there and bike back. You can show how cool it is that like you can manpower, woman power this. Yeah. I'm on to your games now.
Yeah.
To another place, stay the night, and then come back. Like, yeah, bring them into the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
None of you mentioned tandems, but I'm the only one who's.
I like tandems. It's just,
believer in tandems.
I mean, they're expensive.
Yeah, and I didn't say no to tandems. I just said it has to. I think.
Oh, your fiance has said no to tandems.
What?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh, my wife loves tandems.
Really?
I think
she doesn't. She hasn't tried it.
I don't think that she hasn't tried it. I just think that she knows who she's marrying.
Yeah, so make
what
you
does it
do the
mean?
work.
Yeah.
No, it means that I want to beat everybody. And
Doesn't matter. She
Oh,
gets to just sit back
shit.
there.
You
But-
get a good team on a tandem, they are motoring on the flats.
See, what I'm trying to get to
We're
though,
gonna knock you down on
I'm
everything,
the
yeah.
issue. I'm the reason why probably she doesn't want to get on there.
Yeah, but I'm saying is that like she needs to just like sit back, put some snacks in your pockets, and be like, "Yeah, Jackson, you're not fast enough. Go get them."
But see, that's the
tapping on
danger.
you.
That's the danger is because.
faster, still up there.
But that's I
She
get
would
where
though.
she's coming from.
Not his fiance. She's
need to-
competitive too.
But
I've never met her.
well, you
One
will.
time. Yeah,
You
yeah,
will.
I will.
Yeah.
I
On
will.
the day
I will.
that we are
On the day.
becoming
Well, not
wed.
until then,
Maybe
though.
before.
Yeah.
Would you ride on an anniversary
I
without your spouse? Would you ride on an
No.
anniversary? No.
No.
Okay.
I like to celebrate those.
Okay.
no. I don't think.
Sam's looking.
I don't think I've done that.
I'm not sure.
You don't know though.
I can't be confident. I can't be confident.
okay.
But if I did, it was with her permission.
Was,
Right.
Has there ever been a romantic time in your life with your significant other that has included bikes? Sam's nodding.
It's
to
not a fair
podcast
fight. My
interview.
wife loves bikes.
Yeah.
I married an
So like,
angel.
what length are we talking about romantic here? Because if we're going further, I don't know if I feel comfortable answering the question.
I'm not asking if you had
Whoa!
sex on your bike.
No,
Did you
However, I
ride
am
to like
curious
a?
now.
No.
Yeah.
You
Jackson,
gotta take it easy over there.
you were conceived
on a tandem. Imagine
Because
that.
answers to
Put your brain around that one.
answers to all of it are new.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Anniversary.
My wife and I remember one year. I think it was on our anniversary. We did tandem ride, and we went down to, strangely enough, Perry Street Pizza, which is right next to Perry Street Brewing. And we had dinner and stuff like that, and we rode home, and it was funny because I think we had too much to drink, and riding home was very funny on a tandem.
Yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
both swinging.
When bodies are moving in different directions.
And we did a European trip on our tandem, which was absolutely beautiful around this lake that bordered Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and Liechtenstein, called the Bodensee region. And we stayed in wonderful. It was a supported tour, and so our luggage was waiting for us every day in these wonderful hotels, and it was beautiful. And it was talk about romantic. It was a wonderful time because we both had these wonderful rides, and then in the evenings we had wonderful dinners and things like that. It was just an amazing trip, and that was through Santana Tours. They still put these tours together, and it's just absolutely, oh my God! If you want to get somebody into tandem riding, do one of these tours. They're absolutely wonderful. Okay, this is for the listener. Does your significant other have a bike? If so, how many? But this is for you guys. How many bikes does your significant other have?
She has at least as many as me,
Really?
if not more.
One.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to count a road tandem, a mountain tandem.
What?
That's two. I have
You
both.
have 2 tandems?
Yeah.
You haven't shared?
Yeah, I have a road tandem and a mountain tandem. My wife has a mountain bike. My wife has a road bike. No, she doesn't have a road bike anymore. She has a gravel bike. She has a cruiser. Am I missing
Count her
any?
mountain bike?
Yeah, I said tandem,
Mountain
gravel bike, mountain bike, cruiser.
I think that's all.
My wife has at least 5 bikes. By the way,
Commuter, mountain, road, gravel. Yeah.
that's your wife?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the same for me.
Yeah.
Road.
We had your wife has a road.
Oh my
your
God, she
soon-to-be
has
wife.
more bikes than me.
Uh-oh. You need
No,
one
I have
more.
a time trial bike,
Yeah.
which I don't really ride.
So my last question for the night is, we're at 1:31, and this has nothing to do with cycling. I would like to know, being that we are 3 gentlemen on Valentine's Day, sitting here without our significant others, what are your true opinions on Valentine's Day? How do you approach it? What are your thoughts? Let's assume your significant other isn't listening, whether or not they're offended by any of these types of things. I will even go first. I have always believed that Valentine's Day is absolute bullshit. I have felt that when I was first married to my wife, I bought her flowers every month on the same day that we were married, on the 21st of every month. I buy my wife flowers every time I go to Trader Joe's, just because they're beautiful and I see them. I tell my wife I love her every day, every single fucking day. I'm over my.
No.
You're over.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's a good one to be over for.
Yeah. And I believe that. And then I meet people in my life, and you guys can answer again any way you want, who suddenly are pricks to their wives their entire year, and suddenly out of nowhere on this day buy their wives a car or a diamond ring or something like that. And I'm going, no, you're an asshole the rest of the year. Why suddenly on this day are you a nice person? That's not how this game works. I don't like holidays that are made up by greeting cards, and I think Valentine's Day is a holiday greeting card day.
Okay. I will jump in happily because I hate Valentine's Day. My wife does too. She hates it. And I'm going to start off by saying our birthdays are literally sandwiched on both sides of this. Hers is the 7th, mine's the 20th. So, like, right in the middle, we got Valentine's Day. So, like, we don't need another reason to celebrate. But on top of that, I passionately hate the idea. I'm like you. It's like every single day, every single time at the end of a conversation on a phone, love you, bye.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's throughout our living that I'm, expressing this stuff. And so it's, man, if you have to have a holiday to make yourself, feel better that you're a husband or a wife or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to say it. Shame on you. Like, the number of times this week alone that people have been like, what are you doing for Valentine's Day? And I'm like, nothing. And they're like,
I'm going to Pat's basement and I'm going to have a beer.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, oh, well, you're a shitty husband. And I'm like,
No, I'm not.
because one day a year you decide to take your wife out to dinner.
Thank you.
You're not on my level.
Yeah. Jackson, you're just entering this foray.
Well, I mean, we've been together for coming up on 8 years now.
Is it 8?
So,
I was going to say 6. Oh my god.
well, yeah,
It
That's
is
big.
Yeah,
We're in the 7th, coming up on the 8th, and I think that my personal opinion on it is we are people that just like to celebrate anything.
Yeah, you're
And that's
right.
fun.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, it's not that it is like I need a day to show her that I love her. That's not it at all. Okay. I mean, I think we all in this room know that I'm pretty in this at this point. You know.
Yeah.
Whether you want to be or not, you are in it.
Yeah. And so I think it's just like on Saturday because today, excuse me, today she works and I did during the day. And so it's like we celebrated on Saturday, but it was just more of an excuse to go out and do different things that we don't do every weekend. And I think that there's fun in that.
Totally, that's
Just-
awesome. My
yeah.
brother's the same way.
I think
Like,
Is he?
It's a day to celebrate, just to be like, hey, like,
your
man,
brother
why
does it.
not?
Your brother
No,
does
a
it. Your
youngest
brother does it because he says he loves his wife every day, but she can't hear it.
That's true.
He's like,
yeah. That's why
quiet, Dr. Dave.
That's
Yeah.
why I like Valentine's Day. I mean, for Christ's sake, I'm excited for St. Patrick's Day right
Yeah.
now.
Well, that's different.
But yes, because
I get to get
I've
hammered.
got heritage there. Yeah. But also like I get to wear I get to wear green.
Yeah.
Like I like little shit like that.
Yeah,
I'm a
there's
preschool
nothing
teacher
wrong
for
with
Christ's
that.
sake.
I think that there's good reasons to like Valentine's Day. Like that's awesome that you like it and you guys like to celebrate it.
Well, and I was also around 4- and 5-year-olds all day that were wearing hearts. Like that's adorable.
Yeah.
So it's like-
did you guys do the little box where you drop
Yeah.
in? I love
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
I love that.
I'm wearing
I miss
hearts
those days.
I'm wearing hearts on my shoes.
You are.
Like
You're adorable.
I gotta
I,
be into it.
I still have problems with those days back in the days when Valentine's were dropped because I'd put the.
I got
really-
an empty box.
I would always. Yeah, I'm kind of Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
I would make sure I had the nicest ones and I'd put them in very specific boxes.
Yeah.
And then I'd look at
Please
mine.
love me.
I'm like, did they give you back? No, they didn't.
See-
I didn't get the good ones back from them. I always got a 2 from, and then it was like it didn't even have the mints with it. It was just like
you get like one Hershey
Yeah.
kiss,
And
and
it-
definitely not.
and there
two.
was never a love somebody. It was like from.
Yeah, that's why nowadays
I get
everybody-
denied.
nowadays the whole
got this-
class.
The
psychological torture that we went through as children.
Yeah. That doesn't fly nowadays. Everybody gets the same one.
Yeah, that's that's what's wrong with this generation. They just didn't deal with heartbreak.
Seriously, they need psychological trauma at 6 years old.
They
We gotta
they're
start
into
that
this now.
back.
It's like just step on your heart from day one, and you'll grow up to be a 53-year-old man with a
Yeah. If you
AFib.
Fact
If
that
you
this
know-
is a cycling podcast.
if you know that nobody cares about you by at
Yeah.
least 10 years old, you
Yeah.
grow up jaded and then you'll open yourself up to no one. That's healthy.
Yeah. Then you buy a bike and you ride it to hurt other people.
And then you find other unhealthy people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you spend an entire fortune in your basement so you can
And
wait.
we're father and son, folks.
Woo! Blacked out there. What's up?
Where am I?
Oh man. And the funny thing is if Paul didn't have the vid, he would have been here, and your brother would have been. Where is your brother?
You don't want to know.
He's
Guatemala.
That's cool.
yeah.
That's
Doing like doctors across borders. Okay, David.
Wow.
Saving lives.
Just like
helping people.
being a good
We
guy.
get it. You're
Yeah.
a good guy.
Yeah, I genuinely thought he was riding somewhere, so I feel
No,
worse now.
he's actually.
well,
But all of us are denying Valentine's Day in the long run.
Mhm.
what? How am I?
You're
He
not-
did it on
you're
Saturday.
here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We
you're-
are.
Your soon-to-be wife buys decorations for Valentine's Day in like November.
You guys are
And that's
adorable.
what makes us fun.
That is, it is what makes you fun, and not jaded and bitter like me. So speaking of which, you guys, that brings us to the end of another Packfiller podcast. I'm exhausted
Me too.
because it's been 2 weeks. It's like we just had those 2 weeks without training, and now we gotta get our endurance back up. So there we go. I'm supposed to say like, subscribe. I'm supposed to say tell a friend. I'm supposed to say all that kind of stuff. And as I said at the beginning, if you relate to something in the show, drop us a note. Let us know. And I think Sam, you had a really good idea the other day about people with our topics tend to be a big variety. And if anybody out there has just a topic idea that you'd like to have discussed, and our idiot approach approach to it, let us know. Drop us a note through one of the social medias. Same with, I would like to offer up, Sam, your segment with Bike Fit and even the Ask Dr. Dave bits
Yeah, if you
to
guys have
ask those.
questions
If
on that.
anybody has a question, throw it to our direction. We obviously are through the website, through social media and all those types of things, and let us know. It'd be kind of fun to, see what you're thinking rather than just, I'm going to make fun of the show and critique the audio quality and the fact that the soundtrack didn't work in the opening. Yeah. The theme didn't work, but I just want to know it works now.
Well, that's what matters.
Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next week.